Good evening, fans. Welcome to Mountaineer Football Tonight. Host Craig Short, Drew Fulton behind the computer over there. Coach Herron here to my right. We'll get with him in just a moment. But before we do, we want to take a quick sponsor break. After saying welcome to the show, we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by HB Jones Appraisals, John Gamble and Carolina Golf, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home, Welcome to Mountaineer Football Tonight, the weekly coaches show for Kings Mountain High School, brought to you by KMHS Sports and the Kings Mountain Touchdown Club. Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by HB Jones Appraisals, John Gamble and Carolina Golf, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home,
Welcome back, fans. Before we get with Coach Herron, we're going to go over the events going on at Kings Mountain High School this week to let you know what's going on the rest of the week and the first of next week for our Mountaineers. So today, the women's golf team was at Crowners Mountain and men's soccer played at Ashbrook. Hope they both have done well and are doing well. Tomorrow on the 14th, volleyball will be at home versus Forest View. The JV will play at 4:30. The varsity will play at 6. Women's tennis will be at Hunter Huss tomorrow starting at 4:30. And our JV football team will be back at home tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Obviously, Friday night, the 15th, we go to Hunter Huss. Kickoff is at 7:30. Please make sure you come out and support the Mountaineers. We're known for traveling very well, so hopefully you will come there. We'll talk about this again at the end, but I'll go ahead and say now that will be audio only. We may possibly try to show it on the Facebook page, but I'm not promising that will happen, but it will definitely be audio, but we'd love for you to be out there. Next Monday on the 18th of September, volleyball will be at Maiden. Varsity plays at 6, JV plays at 4:30. Men's soccer is at Hunter Huss on Monday starting at 6, and then rounding out the week on Tuesday the 19th, the women's golf will be at Kramer Mountain again at 2 p.m. Volleyball travels down to Belmont to play South Point at 4:30 and 6. And women's tennis will be at home hosting the Wildcats of North Gaston. So that's your week coming up for Mountaineer Athletics. So what we'll do, fans, is we'll get Coach Herron on here with us in just a moment. And we're going to talk about 2 weeks ago's huge win over the Bulldogs, a county rivalry. And we'll talk more and get his thoughts on that. We'll also talk tonight about the game coming up this week. We open up conference play at Hunter Huss, and we'll get Coach's take on the Huskies and how he's prepared for them and what the team is looking at. We'll also introduce and talk about our players of the week, our Gutter Guys players of the week, and we'll introduce those, and we'll go from there and ask Coach a couple of questions. So with no further ado, let's welcome Coach Herron in. Coach Herron?
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Thanks
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
He's pretty fast. You got out here and got back.
Not bad.
Coach is with us. We're going to talk, Coach, first of all about it's been a couple of weeks since the game took place. It was a long time. We're going to talk about the bye a little bit, but I thought it was a great environment. The atmosphere was good. I mean, it was a tough opponent. Obviously, Burns is very, very good. We knew that going into the game. Their quarterback, I'm going to be honest with you, that's the 4th time I've seen him play us. I think he was faster this year.
Right.
I couldn't get over how fast he was.
Yeah.
Two good running backs. Defense played hard. A good receiver. I thought our team played well. And I'm going to let you talk about it. I thought the defense played well, came up big when they needed to. Special teams came up big again. Go ahead and talk. Let's talk a little bit about what you thought your first time traveling to the northern part of the county and playing a county rivalry.
Well, it was, I thought, a really good first half for us. We did a good job doing the things that we were supposed to do, like protecting the football. That's what we really emphasize a lot on offense. So the first half was really good. I felt good about where we were. Defense played lights out pretty much, and they've got some good players, and they play extremely hard. So I was just really proud of the way our guys handled themselves, and in the first half I really felt like we were taking control of the game. The second half, not so much, and turnovers kill you, and it was I guess a good lesson to learn this early on that we've got to protect football. Every team says that, but that's part of our like our statement around here is
right.
We're not going to give the ball away, and so we kind of got lax with that in the second half, and which brings me to another point. We've got to do a better job of finishing games. I mean, you never come off of the throttle. we try to teach these guys is that there is no fast and slow and play just well enough to get the job done. You play your best every single snap. And we haven't gotten there yet, so that's another thing that we're just working on. But I was really happy with the way the guys hung in, and even with the adversity that we had, they fought through it and got the win.
Well, that brings me to my point, Coach. One of the things I always did when I coached is either a head coach or assistant coach, I would always talk about how will you respond to adversity.
That's right.
Because it's going to come. Not everything's going to go well through the game.
Yep.
I was impressed with what our guys did. You want to see an even game from all facets of the game, but I thought our defense picked up our offense when we didn't take care of the ball. And I think that we've seen it the other way around in a couple other games so far. Talk a bit about what you saw in that. What impressed you about how the team responded when we faced some adversity?
Well, on the sideline, number one, I saw our guys who made mistakes get upset about it, which is a good sign. That means that they're really taking this to heart, and it means something to them. So that's a good sign. And then to have our defense go out, and they knew we had to have stops in certain situations, not only get a stop but also get a turnover, helps a lot in the whole momentum of the game. And so I was just really proud with their effort and how they hung in there together. Now I will say that that's something that we've been talking a lot about over the bye week is learning how to play as a team, and we've still got a long way to go there. I've told our players over the last couple of weeks is that I'm not so much concerned about our opponent, or I'm not as concerned about our opponent as I am our own selves. We've got some issues that we've got to get fixed, and we're working on them every day, but we're not there yet. But I'm really pleased with how they finished the game and the effort that they gave.
You said something too, Coach, that made me think. Teams don't realize a lot of times the biggest opponent is self.
That's right.
And trying to get past self. And I agree with you. And if you can tackle that and get past it, that's a big thing. You touched on this a little bit, and before I get you to give me the takeaways from the game, you mentioned one of these things. What were you trying to accomplish this past week on the bye week, and or maybe what your goals were? What were you focusing on?
Well, we've been pushing these guys really hard, and so we gave them Labor Day off on Monday, and I sent a text out to the families letting them know that we were going to give them Friday off, so if they wanted to do some type of vacation, that would be the good time to do it. So the plan was to go out Tuesday and Thursday and practice, and then Wednesday do leadership as usual, and just work on the basic fundamentals, things that we needed to get better at. And so it ended up that it didn't quite work out that way, and that's as far as I'm going to go with that. But we ended up practicing Wednesday and Thursday. And that's what we did. We worked on. It wasn't like a lot of scrimmage type stuff. It wasn't a lot of not a lot of physical practices. We were just working on the basic fundamentals, how to line up and where to put your head when you're making a block, and doing certain little things that we need to get better at. So the bye week ended up being productive for us. It wasn't quite as good as I was hoping for, but I think we all learned a valuable lesson, which the players will have to tell you about it more so than me. But we got some things accomplished.
I understand, and you handle it, you take care of it. I don't have to know. So before we close out the Burns game, Coach, give me what were your 3 takeaways from that game?
Well, first of all, the first takeaway is that we ended up being in a battle, which started out as feeling pretty good about it, and then ended up being in a battle. And our guys, they didn't hang their heads; they hung in there, and they knew that it had come to a point that we were going to have to make plays, and they did that. The second takeaway is that our defense is really turning it on. I think they're getting better and better every week, learning the new system and understanding where we're trying to get them to go. We still have some things that we've got to work on, but our defense is really, really strong. And then the last takeaway is that we've played 3 games and we've had a different person on offense every week kind of step up and be the guy that week, and so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just a one-man show, and we've got multiple people that we want to get the ball to, and we need to get the ball to, and when it's that person, offense for us is you take what the defense is giving us. So we're not going to try to pinpoint where the ball needs to be every single play. We're just going to take what the defense gives us, and when you do that, you got to have multiple guys who can step up and make plays, and that's what I've taken. That's a very good sign.
I'll tell you one thing I thought about while you were talking there. I remembered it was a clean game. There weren't a lot of penalties called in that game, which I love.
Yes,
you know,
me too.
As a coach, I mean,
me too.
When you don't recognize the officials, that means they're good officials, in my opinion. They called a clean game. But I will say, what did you think about that last? I know that was the right call. That last call on Burns, that grounding call. I know that was the right call because I know the rule and I know what he did. But you know, they were fit to be tied, and they thought it wasn't. And I know it's because it was highly contested. But overall, I know that was the right call. But I thought it was a very well officiated game. Yeah,
they did a great job, and I've been really pleased. I shouldn't say that, man, but I've been really pleased. God, that was
never mind. We'll strike that.
Strike that. With the officials, they've done a really good job, and but yes, that was the correct call. And a matter of fact, you know, when it happened, my thought, I had a different thought. There was something else that was going through my mind.
I thought they were going to call holding for Curtis. I thought Curtis got held.
That's what it was.
That's what I thought.
That's what it was. I thought it was they were calling holding in the end zone, and that was the safety. But the official on our sideline came up, and I was like, what's going on? And he said, Coach, when he threw the ball, it didn't make it back to the line of scrimmage. He said, that's as easy a call as you're going to see. So. Yeah, I know Coach Devine was upset with it, but the official, that was the right call, and I'm sure once you go back and watch it on video, you kind of know. But anyway, it was a well officiated game in my opinion.
I think so too. So, Coach, that was the update on the Burns game. That's now the second of 3 county rivals that we play. Obviously, we'll have Crest at the end, so we've got the first 2 out of the way, and I'm glad they're out of the way. So we focus on the conference, but. Overall, I think it was a good game, and I was impressed with how you guys played and responded to adversity and did well, and looking forward to what it helps us build towards the conference. So what we'll do is we'll go to a sponsor break and come back and talk about this week's opponent. Let's play Hunter Huss Huskies. Be back in just a minute.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by HB Jones Appraisals, John Gamble and Carolina Golf, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home,
Welcome back. Coach, let's talk. We're starting the conference this week. Tell me your initial thoughts on Hunter Huss.
Very athletic. At the skill positions, they've got guys that can run, another quarterback that you got to keep him contained. If he gets out and starts running, he's going to give you trouble. So then they've got athletes around skilled athletes on offense all around the place, and the running back's very good too. Mm-hmm. So not an easy task at all. Their passing game is I guess you would call it a little vanilla, but it's scary because it's almost like you don't know what they're trying to do. They might end up having 2 receivers in the same place, which that gives you issues, even though that's what, from an offensive standpoint, you really don't want to do that. But you don't know if they throw it to this guy, that guy's not covered. They throw it to the other guy's not covered. It's just it's kind of giving you it gives you concerns about how you're going to defend that kind of stuff. But Coach Carroll and them's done a great job. He's still up there working right now, and he'll have a great plan for them, I'm sure. And defensively, the good part about it is that, I can say a good part, the defense is they're athletic too, but the good part about it for us is a lot of those skill guys that's on defense are the same skill guys that are on offense. So that's going to be important. We're going to have to just pound away at it and hopefully wear them down, tire them out, and that way we can make easy plays.
I know, Coach, I've either coached against Hunter Huss or watched and observed our team play Hunter Huss since all the way back in 2002.
Right.
It's a long time. I've been these Gaston County schools. I've been around them a lot. One thing I know about Huss is typically they have decent size. Yep. Some years they're huge.
Right.
And they've always got good athletes. Ashbrook's going to be the same way.
Right.
But it sounds like you're saying too, one of the things that we may be able to expose is like the lack of depth they might have.
Right.
So I think that might play well for us.
And I would hope so. I think as hard as our guys worked over the summer, they should be in really good shape. And then when we try to two platoon, we don't have a lot of depth, but we've got 11 guys that are playing offense and 11 guys that are playing defense, and in the long run that can be very beneficial.
Yeah. So it's the opening of the conference. I know obviously one goal is to win the conference and get in there and take, let it lead you to a good seed in the playoffs. And I hope that's what we do starting this week. Going into it for Friday, Coach, what are some of your keys to the game for success?
Well, number one is protect football. That's what we've been harping on through the bye week is we got to protect the football. We did a lot of drills this week and last week that's just ball handling drills and strip drills and things like that, and just to reiterate the fact that we've got to protect the ball. And then just execute. We've got to execute our plays. And Monday's practice was a good practice. Today's practice was a good practice. And so you almost have a feeling like we're getting to the point where everybody's starting to understand what we're trying to do. And so execution is going to be important, and we got to keep our eyes open because you just never know. You might go out there and there's something you haven't ever seen on film, and that's the good thing about having coaches like Coach Bolton and Coach Carroll. They see those things, they notice those things, and they know how to make adjustments. So all of that stuff I think is going to be important. And then special teams is going to be huge. And they've got a good kicker. He kicks the ball really well, but we've got to do what we've been coached to do in our special teams and be able to. I think we've got an edge there, and we got to capitalize on that.
I tell you, Hunter Huss has been a team the last few years. 2 years ago they were down. Last year I thought they were much better, very well coached, very athletic. But the years prior to that, they were always a team that was scary in the sense that they would knock off a Kings Mountain, they'd knock off a Crest.
Yeah.
When you didn't think they were going to do it, and then lo and behold, they showed up and they did.
Right.
And they wreaked havoc in the conference standings. So you don't obviously, I know you're not, but you don't take any team we're playing for granted because they could get us if we're not careful.
Yeah, well, we're not in a position where we can do that with anybody anyway. I mean, we've got to get better. We've got good play. Like I said, we've got good players, and I've told our players this over and over. We've got athletes. We've got coaches. What we don't have right now is a great team culture, and we're still trying to build that. Yeah. And those are the type of teams that can get beat when they're not supposed to.
Correct.
So we've got things that we've got to fix off the field, in the locker room, but I'm really pleased with our players and our team. We're growing. Yeah. It's just not as fast of growth as I was hoping for.
Yeah, I understand. Well, Coach, that's what we'll do with Hunter Huss, and we'll get ready for that on Friday night. I'll talk a little bit more about that game in just a moment. So when we come back after our sponsor break, we will do our players of the week and ask Coach a couple questions. We'll be back in just a minute.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, John Gamble and Carolina Golf, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home,
Welcome back. Let's go now, Coach. Let's talk about our players of the week from the Burns game. Our gutter guys player of the week. We'll start with offense. So our offensive player of the week would be who, Coach?
We went with Quay Sanders. He had a great night. He had 6 catches for 116 yards and a touchdown, and then he also jumped in there at Wildcat for us and ran the ball and had a crucial run where he also scored a rushing touchdown.
Yep.
So 2 touchdowns, 116 yards in receptions, 15 yards rushing. So he's our overall player of the week.
Excellent. Quay Sanders is our offensive gutter guys offensive player of the week. Okay, Coach, what about defense?
Defense, we went to Eli Lipscomb. He had, again, we talked about this last time, we do our defense and production points. So everything gets graded, and he graded out with 69 production points, which is very high. He had 9 tackles, 1 caused fumble, 2.5 sacks, and 3 tackles for loss. He had a great night. So Eli Lipscomb.
Eli Lipscomb's our gutter guys defensive player of the week. And finally, Coach, our special teams player of the week.
Well, it's Max Thompson. He was 3 for 3 on PATs and had 2 incredible punts when we needed them, pinning them inside of the 10-yard line twice. So Max he's doing a great job.
Now, I will tell you, I know you probably saw this on film. The second one, your long snapper got down there to hit him in the arm on the 5.
Yes.
When he was looking for the ball.
Right.
So the long snapper's father reminded him to find the ball in the air as he's going down, but it was still inside down at the 5,
right.
So we'll take it.
Well, here's the thing, though. So for a coaching point that we use, we don't want them to find the ball in the air,
right?
Because if you're running down the
That's a good
field
point,
and
yeah.
you're looking up at the ball, somebody decleats you.
That's a good point.
It's a great way to get hurt.
Yeah.
So really, he's been coached on where to go, and he did fine. We'll take it at the 5.
Yeah,
we'll take it at the 5.
It was funny because everybody got excited because UNASH got it on the 2,
right?
But
exactly.
because the long snapper's father followed him down the field, and I saw it hit him in the arm, so it was all right. But all in all, it was good. And
but he did a great job.
Those were 2 critical plays.
Yes, they were.
That really helped us because the second one really sealed the deal.
Sealed the deal.
So that was great.
Yes.
Great effort by them. So I know you're pleased, Coach, with how special teams has played and how they've shown out. I mean, I know offensive, defensive. I mean, the coordinator. I know you might have had to fire the coordinator after the kickoff return at Cox Mill, but you know.
Yeah. No, but I am.
Overall.
I am. Overall, I am.
Yeah.
I just it's Gabe snapping wise has been tremendous, and our protection has been tremendous on that side of the special teams kicking game. Max has been tremendous, so we just want to keep that going, and then of course our defensive special teams we got to get stops. Now if we could ever get Max kicking in the end zone, then I'll be a happy guy.
I know. We talked about that the last time.
Right, but he's doing a great job though, 100%.
So, Coach, those are our players of the week. Final thing with you, we do ask the coach a couple of things. So what I came up with this week is I wanted to ask you first, what is the biggest challenge in all these years you've coached when you're coming out, or when you're going into a bye week and then going through the bye week and coming out of the bye week?
Right.
What's your biggest challenge in trying to maintain and keep your focus, or how do you do that?
Yeah.
Because you've still got several goals to accomplish.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to gauge your team on where you think they are and what needs to be done. And with our guys, I have this feeling that we don't want this to turn into a job. You know, we need them to enjoy what they're doing. So this for us this year and this bye week, and because I'm saying it may not be like this next year, but I felt like they needed a little bit of a break, and that was the reason for the 2-day practice week and the one one leadership day, which we didn't get to do. But coming out of it is what I wanted to see this week at practice is how they responded as far as their attitude and their effort and so forth. And it's been really, really good. They had a great day Monday. And I'm telling you, and you just said I've been doing this 35 years, whatever. I've never had as many issues with the weather as I've had this year. I mean, even the hurricanes that I've coached through have not caused this much of an issue. And so, Tuesday we went out and it started out that it was too hot and we couldn't go out. And then the next thing you know, they allow us to go out. We go out and it starts pouring down rain. Yeah. And lightning. And so anyway, but our guys they've done a really good job, and so I'm interested to see. I mean, even one of the players made a comment to me, man, I'm glad we got a game this week. This game, he said, this week has been too slow. I'm ready to play the game. And that's great. That's great to hear.
Yeah,
it's great to hear.
Coach, people don't realize when you can't go out.
Oh Lord,
that they don't realize that. I mean, we can't just go up to the gym or. Yeah. We don't have an indoor now. Thank goodness for the Touchdown Club. We've got great facilities.
That's right.
But we don't have this big, nice indoor facility that colleges do.
That's right.
So we can't go out. Yep. We can't go out, and you end up you ping pong you try to find places you can do some walkthroughs, and inevitably somebody doesn't have tennis shoes, or it's a pain when you can't do your normal thing, and it messes the kids up. So holding them together is a big deal.
That's exactly right. When I was talking with Coach McManus yesterday, we were talking about how it just feels so different than what we're used to, of just getting into having continuity, getting into a groove, and so hopefully the weather will get better and we can start getting into that groove.
I hope so too. The final question I have for you, Coach, what has been your message, or what is your message to the team going into conference? Because this is our first conference game. We got a long haul through the conference season. So what's your message to them?
I'm a little bit different than a lot of people. A lot of people will talk about, you're in the conference now, where you end up in the conference is going to affect playoff standings and blah, blah, blah. I don't talk about that. We've got another day of practice. And we need to do everything we can for that day to make us ready for Friday.
I like that.
And then Friday comes along, that's the game. Right. We're not thinking about the next game. We're not thinking about playoffs. We're not thinking. It's one game at a time. And so even more than that, it's one day at a time.
Right.
And so I don't get into a whole lot of all that stuff. Let's just take care of the matter at hand right now and don't think about anything else. So
I like it.
It's a little bit different. A lot of people, they like to think about those things. I just don't. I mean, it clogs your brain. We got stuff to focus on, and we got things we want to do. So
I think it can. I like that approach. That's definitely a great way to take it, because I think if you do look ahead, sometimes you can get caught up in that.
Definitely.
And it can make you not achieve the goals that you set out to do.
That's right.
Or set out to achieve.
That's right.
Well, Coach, good luck Friday. We'll see you on the field.
Thank you very much.
Ready to go down and beat the Huskies, and I hope you whoop them.
I hope so too. I'm
right.
waiting. I can't wait to see the players play.
It's going to be fun.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Thank y'all.
All right.
Appreciate everything y'all do.
Fans, we'll be right back. Take a break, and we'll do a few final things to talk about the week and the game Friday. Be right back.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by HB Jones Appraisals, John Gamble and Carolina Golf, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home,
Welcome back, fans. Just another couple of reminders. We do have the game Friday at Hunter Huss. That game kickoff is at 7:30. I wanted to remind you also, all Gaston County schools have a clear bag policy. Make sure you know that. I think that's on the graphic now. Yep, there it is. Oh, excuse me. Thank you, Drew. I see that now. So you can get tickets from the website. You can do that on Ticket Spicket. You've probably got an account there because we bought a lot of our tickets for our games there. Tickets can be purchased at the gate, cash only if you're going to purchase at the gate. There is a no bag policy in Gaston County, no bags at all. So Make sure if you roll up to the game, you've got a backpack, you've got ladies, you carry a pocketbook or some kind of clutch, purse, whatever that thing is. Make sure you leave those in the car. Just don't bring them at all. The YouTube broadcast will be on YouTube, but it will be audio only. No video there. We've talked possibly about maybe trying to put it on the Facebook page, but that's not a guarantee. So I don't rely on it. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, we're sorry. We'll see what we can do, but we can't guarantee that. But we definitely will have an audio broadcast. Drew has agreed to make sure he describes more things happening, even though he does a great job anyway. No outside food or drinks are allowed in, and kickoff is at 7:30 there in Gastonia. Just also want to remind you that we need you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We say that every week, but we mean it because we want you to be a part of what we're doing here and watching and supporting our athletes and our program. While I say that, don't forget that we have all that we have and do what we do, not only just because of the good Lord, for He's the reason for everything, but what we have here at Kings Mountain through the Touchdown Club, we're so blessed there. Please join the Touchdown Club. Many of you are members, and we want to encourage you to participate if you're not one, and we want to thank them openly like we do each week for allowing us to be able to do this. We also want to remind you to support all things Mountaineer as we move into these seasons. All teams are going into the conference, like Coach said, trying to win one game at a time, take it one day at a time, and get better and achieve our goals. Please come to the game Friday. We think it'll be a good one, and we know that we'll be ready to rock and roll. So, for another week of Mountaineer football tonight, I want to thank Drew Fulton behind the monitors, Jeff Johnson for the highlight film. He did a great job with that, Coach Herron and his time, and we will see you guys on Friday. Take care.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by HB Jones Appraisals, John Gamble and Carolina Golf, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home,